Hi, everybody. I am Rachel Augusta, and I work with animals all over the world who are sick, injured, diseased, suffer from past abuse and trauma, or are just dealing with old age issues. And today I have a very, very special person, a dear friend, an angel walking among us. Who I met through Women Speak. Her name is Mary Elaine. Hi, Mary.
Hi.
I am so excited to introduce you to everybody. As mentioned, I met you through Women Speak, but we met in person for the first time in Sedona, and my life has not been the same since. And I'm just so excited to share you with the women in my membership site. And for those of you who don't know Mary Elaine is a medicine woman. She is a seer, a visionary, a truth holder, wholeness energy healer, and holistic physical therapist who has been practicing for over 17 years. She is passionate about helping people change their relationship to pain and experience deep soul healing by diving into the root cause of their deepest pain, trauma, and chronic suffering so that they can experience really rapid transformational healing from within. She was born with these psychic gifts and abilities and a deep rooted connection with the natural magical world that we live in. Mary Elaine has been using these abilities for nearly 2 decades to help individuals experience healing at a cellular and soul level, incorporating ancient shamanic energy healing systems and her unique light source connection method. Mary Elaine brings individuals back to a sense of wholeness, awakening their soul's blueprint and subtle energy system in order to remember, repair, align, restructure, and repattern the soul body to heal. So Mary Elaine is also a speaker, because I know her from Women Speak. Her message sounding on urgent clarion call for us to awaken the ancient healer within for ourselves, for the planet, and for our children's children. Her talks encourage courageous exploration of our pain, shadows, and disconnection, so we remember who we are and our deep connection to Mother Earth, each other, and to all sacred living beings. She is a yogi, deep meditator, a vegan, and a lover of Mother Earth and all of life. Mary Elaine is a steward of the sacred magical land and holds transformational healing sessions, private healing immersions, and retreats with her horses at her Sacred Earth Healing and Retreat Center in Ancram, New York. Mary,
Hi.
hello.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
So glad we're doing this and that it worked out. So, because you just have so much going on in your life. You just moved up to your big, beautiful space in New York where you're going to be having your retreats. And I'm going to be there for one and be
Yes,
doing them there with you.
yes. Rachel and I are potentially going to do a retreat, an immersion with the land and with the animals.
Mm-hmm.
We are planning to do it in April.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that all of you are going to come, or some of you are going to come visit this magical place.
Yeah, there's a lot of women in my membership site that are on the East Coast. So,
Nice.
yeah, maybe
Yes.
that can really happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Mary, let's talk about pain first.
Sure.
Um, you know, your message in this world is that if you're experiencing pain in your body is trying to tell you something, right? Do you want to
Yes.
speak into that a little bit?
So I believe that the body holds everything that we expose it to. Not only just the food that we eat, but our thoughts, our emotions, the environment that we surround ourselves with, what we watch, who we interact with. So when we experience, and also including the traumas that we go through from our childhood. So when we experience some physical pain, I always believe that it is the divine's way of bringing things up to the surface so that we can heal. So my way of looking at pain is not just like really looking at it through the physical aspect, but really going deeper into the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body to see really what is the reason of the pain is coming up, and where the root of the pain is stemming from.
Mm. Hmm. So you've worked with me. I've hired you to work with me. I had a profound healing with you. And I won't share all of the details of what came up in that healing because it is personal, but I hired you because my hands were going numb.
Mhm.
And I knew that there was something more happening than just like tight muscles. And that there was something deeply spiritual I needed to work out. And you helped me through that. And my healing with you was profound. But I'm curious to know, because you worked as a physical therapist, do you think that most people who can't come to you are like, oh, there's something going on with me on a deeply spiritual level? Or are they just like very unaware? Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, are most humans, aware that the pains in their body might be because of emotional or spiritual issues happening?
I think we're going into a trend where people are starting to wake up and be more aware that there is something more than the physical body. Because
Hmm.
what happens is they go to, let's say, a regular physical therapist or a doctor, and then they pop a pill or they get some treatment done, but then the pain still comes back and it cycles back again and again and again. So over time, people realize that there is something there that's really not being addressed on the physical level. Now, most people may not really weave the connection between the emotional body and the spiritual body, because we're also not really exposed or educated enough about how they are all connected. Like, you
Hmm.
can't just treat a part without addressing the whole. And the part of the body is our nervous system. The part of the body is our emotions. The part of the body is our thoughts and how the brain functions. And so this cannot really be taken out as when we look at really the physical body, because we'll always be limited into really um, healing, because healing does not only happen superficially. You can and you will probably temporarily feel better, but over time people will realize that there is some underlying root there. And unless people are really open to diving into discovering what that is, then they will probably not heal really that deeply. The healing, diving really deep into healing really depends on how open you are into really investigating the root cause of your pain.
Mm.
And the open and the more vulnerable you're willing to really expose everything that is in your body and wanting to be released or expressed, then you can really dive deep and really find out what the cause of the pain is. But it
Hmm.
really varies per person, really. It's really
So,
how deep you want to heal.
right. So when people, come to you and let's say their lower back hurts, do you tell them that there might be something emotional going on, or do you just like do you feel like most people are open to hearing that, or do you kind of have to like work on the sly, kind of how does that work? I'm curious.
So there are people who come in, okay, this is really what's going on. I have deep trauma here and there, and I feel like every time I experience that and I get triggered, I have this back pain. Okay, fine. So then you can go down deep woo woo with them and really go in as intimately, as deeply as they really want to, because they're really open in doing that. However, there are some people that really are just experiencing that back pain, and they really think like the Western way, that it's really just the pain and it is just the physical body, and it's just probably something that they did on the physical standpoint, whether it's standing too long or didn't work out or something like that. So I literally always just meet them where they are, because you can't really have them open up or expose anything if they don't feel safe to really get to a space where they want to even dive deep. So I always create a safe space for everybody, so they feel that they can actually, over time, once they realize that the physical part is really not just the physical part, then they can really go in and exploring the other layers that within the physical body, which is maybe the emotional pain, maybe a breakup, or maybe a childhood trauma that they have experienced that actually can be triggering their pain. So I go there after a few sessions when they are ready, but only when they are ready.
Okay. So you just kind of, you play the Western game of like, okay, yep, these muscles hurt. Okay, let's work on this. And then as you develop a relationship and you feel out whether or not they'll be safe going a little bit deeper, you take them into those places.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I was curious because when I first met you, you talked a little bit about that, where you're like, I'm, a physical therapist, but I have all these gifts. And sometimes I'm scared to show them because I don't want it to be scary to people, because I've been trained for them to think of me as Western medicine. So a lot you talk about deep soul pains. Like what is deep soul? Like what is a deep soul pain?
Yes. So deep soul pain is a pain. It's an imprint or a memory coming from a long-standing suffering, trauma, or a painful experience that it is lodged within our cells or nervous system that is causing us to be unhappy or be in severe pain, or could also be a chronic pain symptom. And most people usually, let's say if they have fibromyalgia, for instance, which is a chronic pain issue, or have early arthritis and they're only 30 years old, or have chronic severe, let's say, headaches for no reason, for instance, or anything that's been going on for many months could be considered as chronic. But it could also people who are really stuck, unhappy, lost in their life, or don't know where what they want or where they're going, could also be deep soul pain. That could be affecting the physical body, and they actually will be experiencing some physical pain.
So a deep soul pain, do you ever see deep soul pain coming out in the form of like fibromyalgia?
Yes.
Do you think deep soul pains cause a lot of the invisible diseases that are really hard to diagnose? The people, like when people come, like I have people who come to me with fibromyalgia. Like fibromyalgia is terrible, but it's really super hard to diagnose. Most people, they're like, I don't know, is it Lyme's disease? Is it fibromyalgia? Are you making it up? We're not really sure because we can't see what's happening in the body. There's nothing that's necessarily pointing to it. It's kind of a guessing game. Do you think those deep soul pains often manifest into the invisible chronic autoimmune diseases that are hard to diagnose?
Yes. So one of the things that I always get in the office is really the most severe cases that people don't really know, and they just label it, oh, it's fibromyalgia, or it's like this, or it's that. And so what I've realized over the course of the many years that I've been working is that especially for all these like really some layered diseases that they name, let's say, for instance, fibromyalgia or an autoimmune thing, there is a deep-seated issue there.
A deep soul pain.
From my experience, yes. And I've treated a bunch of people who've experienced that, and have also experienced fibromyalgia, and even people who have had cancer and all that stuff that have come to me and have done a lot of Western or even alternative therapies that have really not helped them. And what I've found is that's why I believe that you cannot just treat the body through the physical realm alone. You really have to be open into diving into the other possibilities of how the emotions can really affect the body, and how trauma is really, unless dealt with, will always still remain in the tissues, and how stressful your life and the environment that you expose yourself to will really affect your physical body, because it is just a container of everything that we expose ourselves to. So yeah.
I've never really thought of the body as being a container. It's our container.
Yes.
It's our container. That's a good way of
Mhm.
thinking of it. It's just a
Mhm.
it's a container. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I'm gonna I have fear of saying this because I don't want to hurt anyone, or make them hate me or make them feel bad. But I'm going to say it. I have witnessed, and I know others have witnessed, that um, some of those, like fibromyalgia and some of those issues, they're almost impossible to heal because the human emotionally is not ready to let that go.
Mhm. Yes. Mhm.
And that's hard. If you're listening to this and I'm pissing you off, I'm really sorry. Um, it's just what I've witnessed, and I
Mhm.
know others have witnessed it as well, because if you do have these deep soul pains that are contributing to dis-ease in your body,
Mhm.
but you're not ready to deal with the trauma, or you haven't dealt with the trauma, you don't want to look at the trauma, it is going to be very difficult for your body to let go of the trauma, to get your body to then heal.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that leads me to my next question for you, Mary, is how do you start changing the relationship you have with pain? Because fibromyalgia and some of these other diseases are very, very painful. People can't get up, they can't walk, they can't move their body, they can't get out of bed. So how are you, I mean, like, I've heard people be like, embrace the pain. Like in those moments, how do you be like, this is great, I love this, this is wonderful? I mean, because I know that's not what you're talking about, but how do you change your relationship with this pain to look at it as like, oh, this is something that is going to help me, it's working with me?
Mhm. 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 So most of the people who have these uh, chronic, let's say debilitating pain, there is a lot of fear and feeling of unsafetyness.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing in my work is to really make sure that they feel held, that they have the safety to be able to release or unload, or to be and let the pain really come in. And with and so that's, the body shuts down when it is in panic mode. The body shuts down when it's in fear. The body shuts down when they feel like there's something that's going to take them or hurt them. That's just the body's quick response.
So when you say the body shuts down, what do you mean? Like,
So
explain that.
there's a fight and flight reaction of the body. So
Mm-hmm.
most people either freeze, or they don't breathe,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever the pattern the body does, or they just like contract even more, or they push away, they numb, and they
Mm-hmm.
avoid it altogether. So what happens is you create more layers and layers of ways that distance you away from yourself, from
Mm-hmm.
your soul, and the root cause of the problem. The
Mm-hmm.
reason chronic is because it's been going on for many years, over and over again. So the emotional pattern or the emotional pain has been going on for many years, over and over and over again. That
Mm-hmm.
the person and the body knows how to protect itself by either shying away, by like fight flight, by freezing, by pushing away, and it just built this whole big layer of just resistance to that. So the biggest thing to take away the resistance, I would say, to soften it. And softening it would create the space of safety for them, in deep compassion and really understanding what the person is going through. the only way to coax that person to really be able to reach an emotional safety is to provide that first for them. And I can't really say, okay, pain is a teacher, come embrace it, because they're just going to say, hell no, I've been going through pain all my life. That's not, there's no way. I mean, the teacher, what do you talk about?
Yeah, exactly. And, and that comes off as sounding like, I don't know, people will be like, are you saying I deserve this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, no, but it's showing, it's shining a light on
Mm-hmm,
something that needs to be dealt with.
mm-hmm.
But you
Yes.
said to soften the resistance.
To soften the resistance.
So
Yes.
how would we soften the resistance of just I mean, would you say like the first step is just acknowledging it? Like, okay, there's something happening and I don't know what it is, but it's there.
Yes. So there will come a point with people going through the same chronic issues, they will come to a point when they've gone through so many Western, they realize that it's just something, it's not getting better.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
like they come to you almost because you're a last resort.
right,
I've
right.
tried Percocet, I've
Yep.
tried massage, I've tried acupuncture, all this stuff, but
Steroid injections, all that stuff, all the gamut, right? All the pain management stuff that they receive either from doctors.
cortisol, yeah, yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. So um, the first would be really to get them to be in their bodies and really accept that there is something that could be deeper than that. That could
Mhm.
be deeper than, and it's always helpful because whenever someone goes through this chronic or really chronic cases, these people probably never either had the support they needed. So it would be always advisable for people to do that, to have some kind of support that would really hold a safe place for them. If not, then they need to be able to, on their own, realize that they are, that there's something going on that's deeper.
Mm.
That something deeper is going to accept it, to know of it, to realize, okay, maybe there is another route. Maybe there is something else that I'm not seeing, or maybe I'm not open to seeing.
Mhm.
And so that's why it's always beneficial to have to have
Yeah.
someone to hold them in that space, because
Yeah.
they probably never had that safety space, or maybe they did, but they did a different form of treatment.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, as you were saying that, it's like, it's hard to do those things by yourself as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You need somebody who's like, I'm going to hold the weight here
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
while you process and do
Right,
some, do
right,
some healing, but
right.
I'm going to hold the space in this room. I'm
Yes.
going to, oh my gosh, there's a monarch just flew by my window. Oh, transformation. I'm on the
Yes.
third floor too, so you don't normally see butterflies up this high. That's really interesting. But not interesting because I'm talking to you and we're both animal people. So, yeah, that's really beautiful. So when I first met you, you were like doing your work in this world, but kind of afraid to share who you really are, especially with your clients, especially with the world, like that you are this healer. You're not just a physical therapist. You have deep connections with
Mm-hmm.
the angelic realm and with the animals and with the earth and with the planet, and are a shaman and are working in different energies and different planes. And it was scary for you to even talk about it actually in a very sacredly safe group of women.
Mm-hmm.
And when you first brought it up, you started to cry. It was hard for you to share this.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't sure if you were safe sharing it with us, even though we were like, Mary, you're safe. You can share this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you want to talk into your story about why that was so hard
Mm-hmm.
for you?
Sure. So, and this is also why I feel I find it so easy to give safety for people because I've dealt with that so all my life. I was born with
Not having it.
not having it, not having it. So I love giving that to people because it's so needed. Like I needed it so badly, I never had it.
Mm.
And I was born with psychic gifts and abilities, and I can see more than what the naked eye sees. I can hear more than what most people can hear, and I can, you know, I can feel and I can smell more. And so when I was a child, I was told that I was crazy because I lived in a world that was incredibly magical, and I thought everybody experienced that, and I shared it with my family and wasn't accepted, and I was told that I was crazy. So it was very hard growing up realizing that you are maybe the only one that have been experiencing that. And I shut it down, and I was ashamed of it. I felt like such an alien. And I felt so disconnected with my own truth and my own calling and my deep soul connection. And you know, over the years, as I started working as a physical therapist, I started slowly, kind of things started coming back again. I started to really like see how this is actually a gift, not a curse. I thought of it as a curse for the longest time, and I wanted to be normal. And but this was my normal, I realized later on. And so once I fully really embraced who I am, it was just everything just flowed with in me. And I also felt this was my deep soul pain. My deep soul pain was my disconnection with my own gifts, my own truth, the healer within myself, my deep connection with the spirit realm, with the animals, with Mother Earth, and with the little people, with every, you know, all that, and the magic that's out there, and it is still there. And when I started connecting and really saying yes to who I am, I started to feel free. And that is why it was hard then, because you know, the trauma of feeling it as a child was still within me. It was in my cells, and I was afraid to be judged. I was afraid to be ridiculed. I was afraid to be shunned again. But I wasn't. You and all that, you were amazing with all the wonderful women out there. And yeah.
Well, yeah. You know, the thing though is that your story, while you are your own unique person, this is not a unique story.
Right.
And that is why you feel deeply called to help women wake up to the healer that they've hidden. And you last minute changed your whole talk. Mary's whole talk at Women Speak was supposed to be about leaning into pain. And then you broke down, you started crying. You're like, that's not my message. I'm changing it. You know, like days before we go on stage, and we're like, wait, what? And you're like, this is what I need to speak about. And I want to, you know, and it fits so beautifully with your story of pain because, you know, like I don't want to underestimate. And by the way, everybody, I'm sharing Mary's talk in, you know, you'll have access to it and you should watch it. It's amazing and brought the house down. But I don't want people to underestimate the, like, I want them to really grasp the pain of it was your father telling you that you were crazy and that you needed to basically shut up and stop talking about what you were experiencing in this world. And it was so painful that you really looked at those gifts you have as being your demons. And they were scary and they weren't safe for you to talk about. And they weren't safe for you to experience because you would have been further made an outcast. So you completely closed them down and shut them off, which is actually common for some people. Like when something traumatic happens around it, it's like, oh, that's not good. That's not safe. I'm shutting this off.
Mm-hmm.
But the pain of not being who you are causes pain.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about this in your talk. So, we're talking about physical pain. Where does this come from? Is this emotional? Is this spiritual? What's happening? You ended up becoming an alcoholic.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, I was in my 20s.
Which is so weird. People, you don't know, if you don't know Mary, she's this like flowing spiritual woman. So when you said you were an alcoholic who was like wearing stiletto heels and out dancing in clubs in New York City, I was like, what? I don't even see that. Like it was so shocking to me, but it was because you were doing everything in your power to shut it off.
Yes.
And it was creating that sort of pain in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's interesting that you got into physical therapy, which is still healing, but you're like, well, this is how I can maneuver around the topic of being a healer, but this is what is socially acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Yes.
can tell my father I'm a physical therapist and he will accept that.
Yes, yes, yes.
And or my family, whoever, they will accept me.
Or everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And so as you were doing your physical therapy work, though, you said things started to turn on. Were you like, when it first started to happen, were you like, whoa, nope, this is good? Did you continue to try and like ignore it when it was happening?
So funny. My gifts of vision, my gifts of sight, the clairvoyance part of me, it's always there.
I know. I have
can't-
experienced it.
I can't seem to shut that off sometimes. But so the what has happened over time with work is, especially with the clients and the patients I have. So anybody that we come into contact with, and I'm sure you know this as a healer, Rachel, is like, we have created this like energetic contract to work with, I'm sure you're the animals that you work with, and for me, the people. So what's happened is their guides and their person, their soul has made a contract that if they work with me, they are somehow ready to do something a little bit more wild than usual and open into getting into something in that route. So usually what happens, there have been times when I would really have to control a little bit the energies, because sometimes it may be a little bit too much and I would not be, and the other person might not be able to receive it well. So yes, there's been a way where I have to kind of control things a little bit so that they're, depending on how the other person is able to receive. Mm-hmm. It's always about how ready and how open the other person is ready, because the guides and the spirits I work with are always like ready to jump, and I'm always like, okay, hold on a second, let's just see where we're at here. So yeah, so it's been an amazing ride, because when I'm working with people, I am just like, every single doubt or like the little child in me totally transforms into something else. So I love that. I love that about my work when I do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really great. That's really great. And do you feel like the more you've tapped into it, the more you have awakened to even more?
Yeah. So I feel like every one of us have some kind of call to be someone and something. And my call was really to awaken the ancient healer within me, and to really say yes to the sage in me, the shaman in me, the medicine woman in me, because it's all within my system. And hiding it was just painful for me. Hiding it was just really not making me happy, and it was always like making me feel small. But before, I always loved feeling small because it was comfortable. I loved that I didn't have any attention, because I always felt like I was crazy. So I liked feeling small.
Right.
But over time, I just couldn't, because the energies was just like, it was painful to keep it in. It was painful to deny myself.
Right.
So when I said yes to that, it was just, yes, it was just beautiful, because I just owned everything, all of me. It was just
Mm-hmm.
really owning all of me and knowing that this is just my normal. This is my unique being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why is it important for you to wake up the healer and other people?
Oh my God, Rachel, I'm gonna cry because we need to wake up. Why? Because the suffering that's happening in the world and to Mother Earth, to our animals, to the ocean, to the trees, and to the spirit realm, it's because of our disconnection with ourselves as humans, because of our own suffering. And the more we suffer and the more we don't address our own pain, the more we are so numb and dead to what's happening to the world around us. I really feel we need to really feel so deeply again, and we really need to wake up so that we can see how our actions are affecting Mother Earth, how our actions are affecting the waters, the animals, like the tree, everything that's out there. We can't just think about ourselves any longer. We cannot. We need to look at how our actions are affecting the collective. We have to be able to wake up already and move forward to doing something bigger than ourselves, and to wake up our pain so that we can actually heal and heal Mother Earth's suffering. So yes, I am so obsessed about that right now.
It's a good thing to be obsessed with. I am as well.
Yeah.
And Paul Watson, who's the founder of Sea Shepherd, who is out in the ocean saving the whales actively every single day. He said he believes that humans have become the sociopaths of the animal kingdom because we are killing everyone and everything, including ourselves.
Yep, including
We
ourselves.
live here. We live on this planet. Why would we want to destroy it? It's sociopathic to not say, oh, I shouldn't be destroying the place where I live,
But I believe that's because we're so disconnected, so
Yeah.
far out from our hearts, that we really think that it's not going to affect us. We don't really
It's
realize.
not us. Yeah.
Yes,
That
yes,
sociopathic
yes.
behavior is because
Mhm.
we're so disconnected from who we are at our core center.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And, you know, I agree with you. And I don't understand people. I don't understand it when people don't care enough, or they don't want to, or they want to turn their head, or, even when they have children on this planet and they don't care. I'm like, this is really weird because you live here. You have children here. We want to create a safe space for them. We need all of the animals on this planet. We're in a mass extinction crisis. They're very important. Einstein said, when bees go, we have like 3 years left to live, like our
I
planet will collapse when bees, ants, frogs, trees go, but thrive if we leave. So why would we not want to wake up, tap into our heart space, go out and protect? That's the rent we pay to be here on this.
Oh yeah. I just feel like when most of us as humans are in our own suffering and we're deep, deep, deep in our own pain, we cannot see outside ourselves. It's impossible because you're deep in your own pain. Like, you literally cannot even take care of your own self. How can you even imagine of
Mm.
taking care of others? But that's why I am really, it's in with I invite everyone to really, when you're in pain, to really find out, if really have the heart and the investigation and the courage and the bravery to really seek help within your own pain, and so that you can heal your own suffering. Because once you heal your own suffering, the veils come out, and you realize that we are all connected with each other,
Mhm.
and we are all part of each other's lives, and that Mother Earth is within us, and that
Mhm.
an animal there, a bee, a butterfly, an elephant, a whale is within ourselves. And
Mm-hmm.
when we realize that every living thing is a part of us, I mean, how can you really start hurting anything when you realize
Right.
it is a part of us? And so it's just really the big, deep suffering and disconnection within the human soul that is really driving us apart. And the only way to go back into the core of our hearts is to really realize that we are all love. But to get in there is a mix of really finding the way and the bravery to really dive into your own pain.
Yeah.
'Cause it,
I agree with you that, a lot of this comes from pain and disconnection, but my belief is that, I've seen people who have experienced some of the worst pains in the world who are deeply empathetic to other people's. It's
right.
like you have these people who are like, I survived Auschwitz. I
Yes, yes,
care on a deep level about everyone else because I don't ever want anyone of any species to experience.
yes,
There are people who survived
yes,
Nazi war camps that are vegan because of it, because they
yes,
see the similarities, or
yes,
or minority groups who speak out against violence to all species because they've experienced it. I've got sugar pants for flying all over my face right now. But it's when there's the disconnection, like there's people who have such deep pain in their body who then really understand other people's pain in a way
right,
that they want to help them.
right.
But when you are disconnected, that's, I think, the big, like, when there's this deep disconnection is
I
when
also,
we lose that ability.
yes, and I also feel like it, it's a choice, right? Like we can use our pain and the pain that we go through to transform it so that we can use that to teach others and help others. Some people use their own pain to hurt. So,
Right.
there is so they choose to hurt because of their
Right.
own pain. They choose to hurt
Yes.
their own selves and then hurt others because of their own pain. But it's like I feel like awakening the healer and the ancient healer within you. The invitation is to use your own pain to help transform others. Use your own pain to shed light on the pain and the disease that's happening in the world. Use your own pain to heal others, because that is the work of the warrior. That is the work of the warrior within yourself. Because you
Right.
can just choose to just like hurt others because it's a way out, or it's another way out. It's another way of using your pain. There's two ways.
Mm.
And there is a choice. And the thing about humans, we have a choice. We can choose to do this and we can choose to do that. And
Mm.
it's how open and how connected you really want to be, and how you make the choices in your life to matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. And, and it's using your pain to help someone else and yourself. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
Um, I love that. So you recently have land now. Well, you've had this land for a while, but you've like moved up there full time, and you have a sanctuary. You have horses. We mentioned that, but in a few weeks, really, I think you're going to be rescuing a bunch of chickens from
Yeah.
Kaparo, which
Yeah.
is a Jewish ritual of violently murdering. I'm just going to be real, chickens, because I want to speak about this actually because it fits in, it ties in with what we're talking about. So you're rescuing chickens that are going to be used in a Jewish ritual where they swing the chicken over their head 3 times, taking the sins from the human and putting it in the chicken, and then they slit their throat. And it's a extremely violent, and I'm just going to be real, totally fucked up religious tradition. And these are the reasons why I don't like it. Well, A, you're killing chickens, but B, how messed up to be like, well, I'm the sinner, but you're going to be the one that pays the price. That actually speaks into what we were just talking about. Like, use your pain to heal
Mm-hmm.
someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what if the tradition was, I am a sinner, and instead of killing someone, I'm going to give this animal their life. I'm going to help them. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
sponsor them. I'm going to send money to a sanctuary.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do something good to make up for the bad. Or how about
Mm-hmm.
this? How about you just don't do bad?
Right,
Or,
right,
or, you know, like a lot of activists talk about, they could swing money over their head.
right, right.
If it's just an object, swing money over your head and then give that money to the Jewish synagogue. Like, the whole point with the chickens is they have to pay for the chicken. I mean, it's money. It's all about money. So just
Right,
swing money over your head.
right.
And yeah, but it's exactly what we're talking about, of like, I'm in pain, I did something bad, or I have something I'm not happy about, so now I'm going to hurt this person.
Right, and I think it's really, there's two things I feel like when we're talking about this. It's like, really, the number one is the tradition that's passed on, that was obviously not coming from someone, not coming from an awakeness, right?
Right.
That's one. And two, also the, I don't want to do with my own pain. Someone pass it on, put it on
To
someone
you.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I can be upset
There you
about
go.
my own.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
It doesn't, right. It's sociopathic.
Yes. Yes.
And, but, so what I want to say is you're going to be rescuing all these chickens. You have a sanctuary now, and this is a healing space.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a space where you're going to be doing retreats, which I am so excited about,
Mm-hmm.
because you're bringing so much healing to the land,
Mm-hmm.
and you're bringing so much healing to yourself, and you're bringing so much healing to the people who come out to the retreats and visit you there. And because I know you and we're friends, I know that you have plans to build yurts, and you're going to have these amazing vegan meals catered by your
Yeah.
brother, and you're going to be bringing so much beautiful sanctuary to a sanctuary. And I'm just so excited for you and all of the people who are going to get to experience this with you, myself included. And yes, in April, we're going to make this happen.
Yes.
And I'm excited to share that with everybody in this group as well, because this is going to be a place for human and two-legged and four-legged animals to heal.
Yes, yes. The year is going to be done in March. That is why that is why we're doing it in April. And yeah, it's this magical piece of land that I feel like, when I first saw this 3 years ago, as soon as I walked in, I'm like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I see the sunset every single day because I'm on top of the hill. And I've rescued these two horses, which Rachel has healed my Rachel.
Yeah, she has a horse named Rachel, for everybody listening, which I love. Yeah, and I work with Mary's animals.
Yes. Rachel has worked with Rachel and my Aura dog. Yes. I have two dogs too. So yeah, this there is so much space in the land to really walk a trail, because there's a little hiking trail around my land as well. We'll have a yurt. There is a fire ceremony that's going to happen all the time here. We have a medicine wheel that I've created here that's kind of like a labyrinth. It's this really safe space for people to be and heal. And I'm vegan, as you know, and I'm so obsessed about like helping as much animals as possible, because it's part of my thing. And so that's why I am saving some chickens soon. And I just want the space I want this space to be a place where everyone, humans and animals and creepy crawlers and all the and birds and all that, can really find a space to really be in, so we can all really connect again, not only with ourselves, with the animals and with the spirit realms. And it's the space that's created to just really find our own connection, not only with the humans that we see or the animals, but really with the unseen.
Right.
And so this is going to be a magical experience for everybody.
Yeah, I'm so, 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 so excited. I'm so excited. And as you know, I want to do a retreat and you were like, please do it here. And I was like, I totally want to. And so having that, and it's just I'm just really excited for you and your work in this world. And I'm curious to know, before we wrap up, do you work remotely with people, or do you stay local to people in New York City? I know you've worked with me, so I actually know the real answer to this. You work with people remotely. She worked with me. I'm in Minnesota, but do you want to speak into that?
Yes, I do work virtually with people all over the world who want to heal deeply.
Physical pain, but through the emotional and spiritual.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. The deeper, the gunkier, the messier, the better. I love that.
Yeah.
So bring in anything that really that you've had any issues with, that may not have been dealt with or treated well, Western wise, or even from other alternative modalities as well. Because that's, I think, the way I love working with people.
Yeah, like
So
even
yeah,
people who've maybe been in car accidents like 10 years ago that still have long-standing back
trauma. Yeah.
issues or trauma, physical trauma
Yes.
issues. Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm,
Awesome.
mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, well, and I totally give testimonial to your work in this world. It's really, really great. And I love that you do what you do. And honestly, if somebody would have told me 5 years ago, oh, that pain in your body is for emotional stuff, I would have been like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, yep, nope, it totally is, So
Mhm, mhm,
the more in
mhm.
tune you are with your body, the more you notice when things are happening. So I'll say this and then we can wrap up. I just got out of, I left San Diego. And when I was there, I was experiencing like food poisoning type symptoms. My stomach hurt really bad. I broke out in a fever. I really didn't feel well. I was laying on the floor. Kira, our friend who was there, said, do you want me to do some energy work on you? And yeah, I do. Well, I realize now that I'm like, once I got home and I was able to process this with someone, the reason why I was getting sick is because we were being manipulated financially and somebody was using death, the fear of death, to
Mhm.
manipulate me. And it was making me violently ill to be
Wow.
manipulated in that way. And also because I'm a big open beacon of energy for animals, I'm talking about our gifts in this world. I'm very clairsentient, which is
Mhm, mhm,
my gift. I can feel, I
mhm,
see, I see, I hear, and I feel.
mhm, mhm,
Sometimes I smell. I do not like the smell. I don't remember what it's called. That's not my favorite form of
mhm,
clairvoyance, is being able to smell things. No,
mhm.
thank you. But I feel, and I could feel everybody's fear of being manipulated, and it made me violently sick.
Wow.
And yeah, really, 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 really sick. And
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, next time I go to an event, I'm going to be bringing white angelica essential oil with me that repels negative
Yes,
energy, because
yes.
yeah, white angelica. And I'm going to leave the room when we're being pitched. I knew we were going to be pitched. They always pitch you at events where for anybody who doesn't know what that is, like you go to an event, you're doing this thing, but then somebody tries to sell you something. But I'm okay being sold stuff if I want it. I'm not okay being manipulated. And I'm
Mhm.
not okay being manipulated with death. Like they were saying things like, you could die and you'll never have done the thing you
Oh
want.
my God.
Yeah. It was bad. Like the death thing was really bad. And I have major fears around growing old and death. Like that's something, well, we all do.
Mhm,
It was a very manipulative thing. And so there were a lot of fears coming up in the room, and it made me physically sick. It made my
mhm,
stomach hurt really bad, to the point that I thought I had food poisoning. So
mhm, mhm,
why am I bringing that up? Oh, well, it's just the power of what our body does
mhm. What
when
affects the body? What
when
can
fear comes up. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. That
anyway,
makes sense because yes, like everything can affect the body. This just not anything, not just not an injury physically, right? You
right.
experience a physical pain, right? But it
Right.
doesn't come from anything else. So that,
Right.
yeah,
Exactly.
makes
So
sense.
yeah, Mary, I love you. I'm so glad we got a chance to do
Thank you
this.
so much. I love you. Oh my God. I'm so
I'm
obsessed
so
with her. Thank you
I
so much.
I am so glad you're in this on this planet with me at this time.
Yeah.
This is I feel very lucky for that. And for everyone listening, until next time.
Bye.
Bye.